Alright. What's the most overhyped tourist attraction you've been to? Roswell, New Mexico. Pure tourist trap if I ever saw one. The UFO museum was an absolute joke. Basically a bunch of stuff printed from a home computer printer and stapled to a wall. I left that place believing less in extraterrestrials' life and UFOs than I did walking into it. All part of the plan. This one hit home for me. I live in Texas, and my great-grandparents had a cabin in Ruidoso NM. Is that Nevada or North? I don't know. I went to his cabin and my family almost once a year for all my life in the summer. We never stopped in Roswell. I'd get upset every time we passed through. My cousins always got cool alien things from when my aunts and uncles would stop there. Why can't I get cool alien things? Well, it took 23 years, but once I was driving my own car along with the family minivan. I convinced them to finally stop. Got them with their grandkids, so they'll do anything for them. LOL. It sucked. Holy crap. I mean, enjoyed some of the paintings. Oh, cool. Look like I have a million X-File posters. It really wasn't anything. I learned more about it in watching Futurama. Let's see here. I definitely feel like it was so bad it was kind of good experience, but I grew up in NM. I'm not used to high production values in museums and shit. What the hell is NM? That's the second time I've seen it. The U.S.'s smallest park. Honestly, I don't even know why I was so excited for it in the first place. I'm laughing at the idea of someone actually traveling to see this. I drove 18 hours straight just to see a tree in the middle of the street. That was fun. Oh wow, it's literally that. I used to work on a block away from here. People would come in tour groups to see it every day. I'm not kidding. It's less than 2 feet across. What? In Wyoming, there's a tree growing out of a rock in the middle of the highway. It is a small parking lot because people honestly stop to see it. Wyoming, I'd stop to see anything remotely interesting if I was driving through there. I don't see anything to complain about. It looks gorgeous. That's the world's smallest park. That's just a tree. It's literally a tree. That's brilliant. It's even a tiny tree. They have fireworks every night. Plymouth Rock in Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's just a medium-sized rock. South of the border. It's on the I-95 as soon as you get into South Carolina. It has signs all the way from New York to Florida. When you get there, it's just like 5 rides and a putt-putt course. It has a really nice reptile exhibit, though. They spent all their money on signs. It sounds like the Magic Forest up in Lake George, New York. It's a depressing little amusement park trapped in the shadow of a Six Flags, formerly Storytown in The Great Escape, a few miles down the road from it. I remember as a kid, they had a driving horse. It was really a horse being cattle prodded until it fell into a swimming pool. A diving horse. What? The Onion article, new SeaWorld just elephant drowning. In large tank. New SeaWorld show just elephant drowning in large tank of water with no explanation. Oh, that's sad. I mean the horse thing. I knew the elephant one's fake. Pike's Place in Seattle is pretty cool. Really crowded, but it at least still has good food. But the original Starbucks is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen people wait in line for. It's Starbucks. There's over 20,000 of them, and wait, there's over 20,000 of them where you don't have to wait in an hour-plus long line. I seriously don't understand why people wait in line at that Starbucks. It's technically not even the first Starbucks. If you're in Seattle and want to check out something Starbucks related, I recommend the Starbucks Roastery. The future birthplace of James T. Kirk. Couldn't find it. People looked at me like I was crazy when I asked where it was in town. Nothing much there but a sign. What? Photo from Stop. Future birthplace of Captain James T. Kirk. March 22, 2228. Okay. Mannequin Piss is a tiny in real life. You're walking right past without noticing it for the tourists standing around looking at it. Mannequin piss. Oh. Gatlinburg / Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. It's like they went out of their way to slap up the tackiest bunch of tourist trap bullshit right next to some of the most beautiful land in the country. It's a hillbilly Vegas. As shitty as it may sound, the Empire State Building. You know what happens when you're at the top? You can't see the Empire State Building or Central Park. Be a good tourist and go to the top of the rock. Spotted Central Park, half covered from the ESB as opposed to seeing the full scope of it. Venture off to Hookbrook. It's fucking beautiful at sunset. The trick to the Empire State Building, at least for me, is to go later at night, like around 9 p.m. Zero line should just zit right up there, and NYC lit up in all of its glory and awe-inspiring. You can see all the bridges, get amazing views of Rockefeller Plaza, down to being able to see people ice skate in the rink. Was completely worth the money in my opinion. Didn't pay extra to go to the 100th floor. The basic ticket was plenty high. Here's some cell phone pics I snapped right at the top. They don't do the view justice. Those are cell phone pictures? Wow, those look good. Let's see. Wall Drug in South Dakota. Miles and miles of billboards on I-90 telling you to visit Wall Drug, and it sucked ass. Anyone who has been will agree with me. Although, I did get a free bumper sticker, though. Did you also get a free glass of water? Free ice water? It used to be a big deal before refrigeration. They've been running the same promo since before refrigeration. Come on down to Wall Drug and get yourself a nice musket cleaner in every purchase over 2 shillings. Asking the real question. But seriously, outside of the novelty of John Buffalo's shirt, the only thing I remember from Wall Drug was the free water. They aren't even hiding the fact that they're a C-list tourist attraction. What the hell is Wall Drug? I have to look this up now. Wall Drug. Let's go to images. Okay. It's a store. Free ice water. Wall Drug. It looks like just a store. Okay. That's cool. Pingyao. It's a UNESCO site in China. An ancient walled city, except every building inside has undergone extensive renovation. And there are lots of tourist shops, bars, etc. Big letdown. Chinese people love it, but foreigners should give it a pass. Pingyao. I didn't know it was Chinese when I was reading it the first time. Images. Pingyao. So, Chinese style castles. Cool. Let's see. The biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. Yeah, the one in Kansas is bigger. The only reason I know this is an old PC game called Sam and Max. The only reason I know about it is because of Weird Al. I was shocked by how tiny and plain the mannequin piss in Brussels was. I like the giant waffle-eating version of him in the nearby waffle place better. Genic piss. Oh, that. The Mona Lisa, unless you have some drive of interest deep into painting, it's a flop. But the Louvre is totally worth it. Painting is good, but not worth the crowd, especially at a Louvre, where you have guys like Rubens, Caravaggio, Rembrandt, Delacroix, Gurkot, Vermeer. I don't think I pronounced any of those right. Also, Musée d'Orsay is another place worth a visit for 19th century art. Not crazy crowd, or maybe I was lucky on that day, and great art pieces all around. The ridiculous crowd of people taking selfies in front of it is also pretty dismaying. The iconic thing is you have this gigantic masterpiece. Dang, in the same room, but somehow the crowd is interested in Mona. It's funny to see Mona Lisa, which is like 2 feet across, take the whole wall, and then to see the enormous painting opposite that's the size of the wall. I saw the email, looked at it for a little bit, and immediately turned around and looked at the giant one for way longer. And it used to only know the big one across from Mona Lisa. The mystery spot. What? The Salem Witch Museum. I've been to Salem many times and never went to this iconic tourist attraction. I went with my girlfriend, and we first waited in line for about an hour. This was around Halloween, and Salem is notorious for being extremely crowded during the month of October because of all the haunted attractions. And then we finally got inside. It turned out we were just waiting to get tickets for a tour in a couple hours. So we got our tickets and came back at our designated time. We get inside and sit through half-hour presentations of listening to an old recording of a man talking about the history of Salem and looking at mannequins that are supposed to represent the historical figures. After the presentation, we went into the other room where the woman talked for roughly 10 minutes about how Wiccans did not worship the devil, and told us to respect their beliefs and practices. After she concluded, we were forced to exit through a very overpriced gift shop. Overall, it was boring, overpriced, and nothing like how it was advertised. One town would not recommend. That and the Deathclaw. Everybody's all, ooh, the Salem Witch Museum, so spooky. Watch out for the Salem Witch Museum. It's just a Deathclaw and some corpse people. Not like all you can find shit anywhere in Commonwealth. I mean, come on. No horde of ferals, no despicable social experiments turned horribly wrong, no gory mound of human remains or evidence of torture. I say save your cap/fusion cores and visit the caves under Dunrich Boars. It's a little crowded, but it's really top-notch as far as ghoul murdering goes. Unlike the Salem Witch Museum, completely lives up to the hype. I was so hyped up, and I was excited to finally get there. When I got inside, it was Deathclaw. What the hell is Deathclaw? Deathclaw, Fallout, Waikia. Okay. The Liberty Bell. I honestly stood outside watching the cars go by, and I saw a Rolls Royce. You should have licked it. Checkpoint Charlie in Berlin. Sandbags and fake army guys played by former East Germans. You can tell the difference between East and West Germany quite easily, actually. Also, there was a giant McDonald's right there down the block. I live in Berlin, and this is the one I tell people coming to visit not to really worry about. We'll usually be in the area anyway, so I might take them for a walk past it, but it really is completely underwhelming. Just a hutch in the middle of a normal road with a couple guys dressed up for tourists to take pictures with. That's like the first one on here that's not from the US. Stonehedge. You can't get too close to it, so all you can do is stare at the pile of rocks from afar. They've massively improved it now. You can't go up and touch the stones, obviously, but a few changes were made. A new visitor center that is quite far away from the hedge, with great exhibits putting in the context of the surrounding monuments. Stonehedge is just part of a much larger complex, which I didn't realize when I first visited the first time. There is a shuttle bus from the visitor center for people that don't fancy the 20-minute walk. The walkways have been adjusted so that you get much better view and closer up than you did previously. The audio guide has been updated and is excellent. There are suggestions of where to walk to the surrounding to check out the burial mounds and monuments, and a map of the route that they believe was taken by pilgrims, druids, or whoever else used the place. Okay. It's only 18 feet tall, so the final product will look just like this model, right? Wait, I think that's inches. The Alamo. The history is amazing, and all the information on it is really cool, but the building itself is really a huge disappointment. The important thing is that you remember it. The Sears Tower, or as it's known now, the Willis Towers. I live in Chicago, and I refuse to take people there. If you want to have a nice view of the city, it's way better to go to the signature room at the top of the Hancock building and enjoy a drink. The Moon. No cheese anywhere. Very disappointing. Madame Tussauds in London. Absolutely did not see the point in queuing 1 hour to see wax. Not my idea to go to begin with. But I'm nothing if not a team player, damn it. The whole thread is like a traveler's version of first world problems. The Grand Canyon, just a big hole in the ground. Just kidding, that trip was truly life-changing for me. If there's any place in the continental US to check out, it's the Grand Canyon. Go now. Years ago when I was a Boy Scouts, my troop took a trip there. I got deathly sick and couldn't go. It still makes me sad 10 plus years later. The Grand Canyon is pretty spectacular, definitely not overhyped, though the skywalks sound not too great from a lower comment. The skywalk is a fucking ripoff. Over the summer with a friend who was also enjoying hiking. It was my first time taking one of the trails down, so I didn't want to overdo it. I went about a mile and a half down, and I got nervous. I'd get tired on the climb back up, so I turned around. Next time I go, I'll go further. Bright Angel Trail is beautiful. It's beautiful and only gets better with age. I've gone twice on S7. Oh, that's pretty cool. Last summer at 26. Holy shit, this is beautiful. If possible, fitness and financial-wise, try to hike all the way down. The view, plant life, and just atmosphere get even better. I was lucky enough to say. I should probably go to the Grand Canyon. I live in Arizona and I've never actually been there. Glory Hole in Powell Brooks in Portland. If a glory hole is boring, then something is doing something wrong. The Little Mermaid statue in Denmark. It is so out of the way when you get to the bronze statue. That's it. The main appeal is watching tourists fall into the water while trying to take a selfie with it. The Liberty Bell. The motherfucking Liberty Bell. I'm English, but I spent 4 summers working on a summer camp in New Jersey. About 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. I didn't have family to stay with on my days off, so I'd spend time with the families of the other counselors, who had days off at the same time as me. Without fail, those mums, sometimes dads, but mostly mums, upon finding out I'm English, would make it their mission to show me the Liberty Bell in Independence Hall. I've seen the Liberty Bell more than most Americans have. I've seen it more than most Philadelphians have. I feel like I've seen the bell more than the security guard the Liberty Bell has. I don't give a shit about your broken fucking bell. If you've ever seen it, why did you go back again? Yeah, hope he's an idiot. Oh man, you're English, let's go see the Liberty Bell. Actually, I've been twice now and enjoyed it. Maybe we could see some other historical site. Maybe I do something by myself. Maybe I sit at home this weekend. Maybe I go fuck myself. Blarney Snow in Ireland. It's just one section of the wall in a castle. Doesn't look different or anything special. Especially when there are so many other actually cool things to see in Ireland. The Hollywood Walk of Fame. I live here, and to this day, I'm like, why is this so popular? Edit. I guess I should clarify. It's not that I don't find it interesting. It's more that there's a ton of weirdos, and it smells like piss. The few times I've gone, I've had to wonder if tourists just deal with it, or if they too find their surroundings a bit ugh. It's popular because people like to find their favorite movie stars. More importantly, they don't live there, so they aren't jaded about it. City I'm in has tons of beautiful historical buildings and wonderful history. When you live there, it's just what I walk past on the way to work. I guess that's true.